Hello, welcome everyone. Welcome back to my channel. As you know, I'm running series for SOF IMO grade 7. Well, integers are helpful for grade 6, 7 and 8 and not even only for SOF IMO, for any Olympiad and for your syllabus, that is whether you are appearing for ICSE, CBSE or for any state board. So we have done theories in our last two lectures, and this is the third and the last lecture on the integer theory. After that we will be doing questions. The questions are divided into subjective, that is the descriptive ones, and the objective ones. So the next video will be on the descriptive questions and next to next would be on objective question. So let me continue with this one. Properties of multiplication of integers. So I have already explained you how to multiply the integers. Now we are talking about the properties of multiplication of integers. They are almost same as the addition. We have already discussed these ones, almost all of them. So let me start with closure under multiplication. So closure property I have already explained you, and if you haven't done, I'm just pasting the link in the description box and you can click on it and you can go to the previous videos. Closure, that means if I'm doing any operation with the integers and the result is also integer. Like in this case, if I'm multiplying two integers and on multiplying two integers I'm getting the answer as integer itself, then I say that it's closed under multiplication. That means suppose I'm taking 2, this is my integer, and when I multiply it with 4, which is also an integer, my answer would be 8, that is again an integer. So that's called closed under that particular operation, and hence it's closed under multiplication. I can give you another example as well. Minus 2 multiplied by 3 will give me minus 6. So you can clearly see both of them and the final result are all integers. Next is commutative property. So commutative property says that order doesn't matter, that we have already done in addition as well. So even if I change the order, the result is same, hence I can say that it is following commutative property. Say for example, I'm writing 2 times 3, answer is 6. Now I'm changing the order, I'm bringing 3 and 2, answer is still 6. Or 2 multiplied by negative 2 will give me negative 4. Or if I change the order and bring negative 2 first, then negative 2 times 2 will give me negative 4. So it doesn't matter whatever be my order, answer is still the same. So hence it's following commutative property. Next is multiplicative identity. That means if I multiply any integer by a with a, then the result will also be the same value. So if I'm multiplying, let's say 3 with 1, answer is 3. So that's called multiplicative identity. On multiplying 1 to any integer, if answer is same, that's called multiplicative identity. So that means any, let's say a be any integer multiplied by 1 will give me a. Next is associative property. Associative property says the way in which the numbers are grouped will not change the answer. Let's say we have 3 numbers, 2 times 3 times 5. If I group them like this, so obviously I'll solve this bracket first. So 3 times 2 will give me 6 and 6 times 5 will give me 30. Now I have changed the way of my grouping and I have put 3 into 5 inside the group. This will give me 15 and 15 multiplied by 2 will give me 30. So you can clearly see it doesn't matter in which way you are grouping it, answer is still same. So I can say a times b times c is equals to a times b times c. Distributive property. So for any integer, if we have like this, the function is written like this, we can use this distributive property. That means if integer, there is one integer, even in algebra also, which is called expanding the bracket, we use this distributive property. So if there is an integer outside, we have to multiply this with every term inside the bracket. That's called distributive property. So you can clearly see a is outside the bracket, we have to multiply this a with every term which is inside the bracket, and b and c are inside the bracket. So I have to multiply a and b first, so a times b, and then a times c, so plus a times c. That's your distributive property. Similarly, I can apply this one in case of subtraction. Here a is outside and b minus c, these two terms are inside the bracket. I can multiply a and b, which is here, and a times negative c, which is here. So that's called distributive property. Let me take one example. Let's say this is 2 times 3 minus 5. So there are two ways by which I can solve it. Let me solve the bracket first, which will give me negative 2. So 2 times negative 2 will give me negative 4. Or we can use the distributive property, that is 2 times 3 will give me 6. So I'm doing here 2 times 3 and then 2 times negative 5. So either I can directly write 2 times negative 5 or like this, negative 2 times 5. So this will be 6 minus 10 will give me minus 4. So you can clearly see. Now you might be thinking that why we are using distributive property if it's this part is much more easier. We use distributive property for very difficult digits. Like say for example, if it would be 1990 multiplied by 2310. So something like that. So what we can do, we can use the distributive property. Or if it's like multiplied by 2300, so we can divide it. Say for example 1990 can be written as 2000 minus 10 and outside is 2300. Now it would be much more easier. Clearly, rather than multiplying this one, I have separated like this and I can use the distributive property. So 2300 multiplied by 2000 minus 2300 multiplied by 10. You can clearly see, even you don't have to do the whole multiplication thing. It's very visible. You can just quickly, without doing anything, you can just write down the answer. So for such difficult numbers, we use the distributive property. Now the properties on division. First is division doesn't follow the closure property. I have explained you closure, that means when we are doing a particular operation with two integers and if the answer is also integer, then it's called closed property under that particular operation. If I take the example of division, say for example I'm dividing 4 divided by 2. So you'll say 4 divided by 2 is 2. So yes, they both are integers, answer is also integer. But what if I make it reverse, 2 divided by 4? Then this will give you half or 0.5 as the answer, and 0.5 is not an integer. So obviously on dividing two integers, I'm not getting an integer, hence it doesn't follow the closure property. Moving on to the next one, division doesn't follow commutative property. Commutative property, which I just explained, on changing the order of the integers, if the answer is still the same, then we can say it follows commutative property. That means, taking the same example which I just given you, 2 divided by 4 will give me 0.5. When I change the order now, it's 4 divided by 2 and it has entirely changed the answer, make it 2. So obviously it doesn't follow commutative property as well. It doesn't follow associative property. Associative property is the way in which they are grouped. So if it's 2 divided by 4 divided by 6. So 2 divided by, first I'll do 2 divided by 4 and let me just group it like this. And then 2 divided by 4 in that. So obviously I'll solve the bracket first. So 4 divided by 6, which can also be written as 2 divided 4 by 6. So that will give me 2 by 3. And we know whenever we divide a fraction, what we do? We replace division sign with multiplication and reciprocal the later part. That means this division sign will be replaced with multiplication sign and this will become 3 over 2, which makes the answer 3. Now let me try to apply this one onto the second one. So this will give me half. Half divided by 6. So again I'll be doing same thing. Replacing division sign with multiplication and make the later number reciprocal. So half multiplied by 1 over 6 will give me 1 over 12. You can clearly see both answers are entirely different. So this is the reason that division doesn't follow the associative property as well. Now let me see what we have to do when we have to multiply three numbers, three different integers. Now 2 multiplied by 3 multiplied by 4. It's very simple, very small digits. But the method will remain exactly the same. Doesn't matter it's a single digit number or double digit numbers. You have to multiply any two number, because again I was saying it follows the associative property. So it doesn't matter how like what will be the way in which you are grouping it, answer is going to be the same. So 2 multiplied by 3, multiply any two of them, so that will give me 6, and multiplied by 4, so will give me 24. So this is how you have to multiply when you have to multiply three integers, which means multiplying two integers at a time and then multiply the product with the remaining integer. If you have 5 integers to multiply, do the same. That means suppose it's 2 times 4 times negative 3 times 4 times negative 2. So let me make the groups. 4 times 2, 8. 4 times negative 3 is negative 12 and negative 2. Now multiply these two, negative negative makes it positive. So 8 times 12 times 2, 24. And then finally we can multiply 24, and answer is 192. So this was a whole theory. We are done with the integer theory, and now let me do just very few questions. Obviously the deep we'll dive deep into the questions and we'll do properly SOF IMO type questions that when we will doing worksheets. As of now I'm just doing very few number of questions. Now question 1 says write two integers such that the sum is 10 and the difference is 4. It's simple. You have to find two integers, their sum is 10, and we can start with 0 obviously. So 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. And second number should be, if I'm taking my first integer as 0, so what should be the second integer so that the sum is going to be 10? It will be 10 itself. Okay. Now the next is, if I'm taking 1, then what will be the answer? Obviously it has to be 9. Okay. Now next is, if it's 2, then it has to be 8. So what I'm doing, I have increased the first number like by 1, so I have to decrease every second number by 1 so that my sum will remain same, that is 10. So 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Now these combinations are the repeating ones clearly, because 6, 4, 6, 4, 7, 3, 7, 3, 2, 8, 1, 9. So these are the repeating ones, so we don't have to care about them. So these are my possible numbers, and the difference is 4. So let me find the difference between 10 and 0. It's 10. 9 and 1, it's 8. 8 and 2, it's 6. 7, 3, 4, 2 and 0. So obviously the one which is giving me the answer, sum is 10 and difference is 4, is 7 and 3. So the combinations are 3 and 7 or 7 and 3. Write two integers such that their product is 10 and the sum is 7. So again, what are the possible numbers when I multiply them will give me 10? So 10 times 1 will give me 10. Then the product 10, that means it should have the factors. So 1 is going to be the factor, and then it will be 2. So 2 and 5. Then it's 5 and 2. So it's the repetition, 1 and 10 repetition. Okay. So these are only two possible factors that their product is going to be 10 and sum should be 7. So if I add it, it will give me 11, it will give me 7. So my answer is 2 and 5. Moving on to the next question. Girl A received some points, negative 21, plus 40, plus 70, negative 30, 41, negative 11. And girl B has received some points, which is 30, minus 21, 60, minus 31, 21, 42. And we have to find who has received more points. That means we need to add it up. That's all we have to do. So for the first one, I have explained you, if you have some positive, some negative numbers, you have to group them. All negative numbers should be like, you have to bring them all together, and positive numbers should be like with the same sign, you have to group them. So I'm just bringing all negative numbers together. So negative 21, then negative 30, then negative 11, and all the positive numbers. So that means 40, 70 and 41. If I add these negative numbers, that will give me 62. So negative 62. And this will give me 151. So negative 62 plus 151. This will give me 89. Now let me add these numbers. I'm doing the same. I'm just grouping all the negative numbers and positive numbers. So 30 plus 60 plus 21 plus 42, and all the negative numbers, negative 21, negative 31. So when I see 90, this will give me 111 and 153, minus 52 will give me 101. This is the final answer. So now, obviously, which one will receive the more points? The girl B has received the more points, that is 101. Last question is solve all these ones. So it says minus 20 plus minus 11. So I told you, when you expand the bracket, positive and multiplying it with negative becomes negative. So this can be written as negative 20, negative 11 will give me negative 31. Because when two numbers are negative, or from here you can understand, I have already explained you, when you are adding two similar sign numbers, you have to add them up and final answer will be the sign of those two numbers. Next is minus 70 plus 80, which can be written as 80 minus 70, and that is simply 10. Next is its multiplication, and I told you have to multiply two numbers together. So let me pick these two. This will give me 6. So minus 90 times 6. And this will give me minus 540. Next is 40 divided by negative 20. So 40 over negative 20 will give me negative 2. Next is 9 times 1200. So simply 12 multiplied by 9 will give me 108, and the remaining 3 zeros, so add them up like 0, like this. So answer will be 108,000. Next is, obviously you have studied the BODMAS in your younger classes, so you have to follow that one, and in this case we have addition, subtraction, multiplication. So I'll be doing multiplication first. So let me just multiply this together like this. So I can write minus 60 plus 30 plus minus 20 times minus 2. So minus 60 plus 30 and minus 20 multiplied by minus 20 is plus 40. And 40 plus 30 is 70. And 70 minus 60 is just 10. So this is how we can solve it. Obviously in details we'll be doing when we'll be doing worksheets. And also if you're looking for the book, the complete book with the complete theory, all the type of questions, a perfect book, a perfect blend for your SOF IMO, you can contact us. It's very affordable. We are providing books starting at just 50 rupees. So that's it for today. Bye everyone. Take care.